All right. Welcome to the meditations, guys. It was a come from behind victory for Vader and his Grand Inquisitors there.
Yeah.
In a great turn of events there. I thought I had it on lockdown. Obi-Wan came in and just like a friggin' truck, like just rolled right over pawns there, dealing all the damage he needed to do.
Oh yeah.
My protection and steadfast did nothing for me there.
I was saying before that getting his entire tree is 4 points long,
Yeah.
and on 6 die that feels pretty reasonable, but on 9 die it becomes very consistent to
Oh yeah.
get all four
I
through.
mean, there's a reason why a lot of people feel like Vader and Obi-Wan are two of the most powerful characters in the game right now because they just do a whole bunch there.
They do.
No, this was to be so close to victory and have it just torn from the jaws of it was kind of rough on this one, especially when you look at the momentum tracker.
Yes.
Like I had so much friggin' momentum and I just could not do it. I want to talk about your MVP. I think your MVP was your fifth brother.
Oh my goodness, fifth brother.
The amount of times he just kind of rolled in, he's just like, well, I'm going to take this point because I'm tying it.
Yes.
Like just the massive back and forth fight going between the commandos here, the 501st. Like this was a very pivotal fight, and the fifth brother coming in to just take it at the end there.
Yeah.
And even over here, like when the fifth brother came in and took it from the ARFs for a little bit and just gave you so much momentum to work with, right?
It's such a small little passive saying he wins ties, but it does so much.
It's a big deal. It really is. And it got to a point where, like, what I find really interesting is like Fifth Brother was like the only one who could really influence over here because of just how much of a cluster it was.
Yes.
But yeah, like that was really something else. I'm amazed at just what happened over there. I can't say my guys really disappointed me. Like I had that one roll with the Clone Commandos into the Grand Inquisitor, which just like whipped totally.
Him being alive on one there felt quite bad. But
yeah, but outside of that, I mean, the dice. This is probably the most even I felt the dice have been in a bunch of games that I've played so far.
Yeah, we both rolled pretty good. We both rolled pretty bad.
You were able to get above the curve by virtue of, well, I can just roll more dice than
yes.
you.
Turns out rolling 3 extra die on all of your attacks except for the 501st feels really good.
Go figure. Apparently, yeah. So no, that was definitely good. Like Vader's identity really came in really clutch for you.
It did.
I don't think I was able to make as much use out of Mace Windu's identity in this particular game. Unfortunately, there was a bunch of times when because he was over here, I wasn't getting the protection and steadfast over there.
Yeah, it's a aspect of this particular mission set where the back points are. The middle points are very spread out, where the back points are very held together. You can get some real distances between points.
Yeah. Now the irony is, like, we pulled the final struggle, which I didn't want to see. I wanted to see the ones that were like right down the middle.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we pulled the one where it kind of kept us spread out a little bit, so I wasn't really able to bring to bear my best stuff, which was really kind of unfortunate. And you were able to capitalize that on a lot better than I was.
Yeah.
Which was awesome. And you had some really great plays in there. Like I think you did some cool stuff with Vader in there. Like I said, your fifth brother was really impressive. Your Grand Inquisitor got some good work done for you.
He did.
And
I love all of the Inquisitors, even including Reva, even though she's sometimes a little bit underwhelming.
A little disappointing. Yeah.
They have such fun abilities that can do such tricky things.
Oh yeah.
Saying no one scores this point. Very cool.
The fact that twice you were able to use this ability, just like, I'm going to turn this point off. Nobody scores it now.
It's 2 force, but it's very relevant. It can be.
Yeah, it's relevant when it's relevant.
When it's not relevant, you don't really feel like Grand Inquisitor is missing a power.
I think,
but when it is relevant.
I think there was quite a few turns that you turned off my ability to score some points. Yes. By doing so, right? And that was a huge deal. That allowed you to really pick up a lot of good momentum there. So yeah, like this was one of the few games where it was highly relevant when it came up. Obi-Wan's obnoxious.
Obi-Wan's a little obnoxious.
His stupid ability to like mind trick is. I think that the mind trick it has to be the target, the attacker has to be within 3.
Absolutely agree.
Because why is he mind tricking Vader to do better, right? Like that's what doesn't make sense here, right?
Yeah, I think that I think it has 2 things that make it a little too powerful. One being measuring range to the allied character, not the attacking character. And 2, if there's no other targets for the attack, they just can't attack.
Like if it refunded the action, like it gave them another action that they could do something. Well, I guess it doesn't matter because you can't move twice anyway. But
even if they could pivot
hunker
into
or something like that,
or a recover even.
Yeah.
But just saying you get an attack action, or you can make another attack, it's...
Yeah, because one thing we were looking at near the very end there when Mace Windu win, we were actually looking at a scenario where Mace goes here, up to here, does a movement, gets up to here, and then pushes Vader a whole bunch, right? Because I could have exposed Vader, pushed him around. And then you would have been like, well, just mind trick.
And then Windu's up there doing nothing, scoring nothing, giving me that back point.
Yeah, and like that would have just been game right there. And it's just... Because we took a look and it's like, well, yeah, Vader's within 3, so it would have been an amazing play if Obi-Wan hadn't been there. So it was just like, well, no, that's not what's happening because that's just a dead play, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so he's really tough to work around, unfortunately. But I mean,
despite how weird it is putting a 3 power underneath him. With Vader, I think he goes very, very well with Vader.
He's an incredible defensive piece, is really what it boils down to, right? Like, if you have the Force to do that mind trick, it keeps your pieces going a lot longer, which is really nice.
It does, and like I said, just 3 extra dice. Here's my whole tree. I'm shoving you twice, I'm getting a ridiculous amount of damage, or I'm repositioning and recovering a whole bunch.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, it was one of those things really difficult to work around as a result. Like I think one of the big things that happened to me on this one is just I started hitting a strain or a trend of cards where it's like, this isn't who I need to top deck. Like it's weird because like I top decked the ARFs, and if they went, they would have just died at the end of their turn. They wouldn't have scored any points anywhere because they weren't close enough to anything. So I mean, they weren't worth using. And then top decking into Mace Windu was, I mean, it felt good to go into Reva, but what does that do for me? I was already holding that point.
Yeah.
So it didn't really matter a whole bunch, right?
I think Obi-Wan would have been a really good option there, or Rex even.
Obi-Wan was 2 top decks away, is where it was coming down to. But yeah, I agree with you 100%. If I had gotten Obi-Wan and I'd been able to get over here and reinforce it, it means that you would not have been able to take it with your Obi-Wan. But unfortunately, because my Obi-Wan was still knocked out and spent a good chunk of this game knocked out, it was just kind of unfortunate in that regard. But I mean that's just how it comes down to sometimes. I will say though, like of all the games that I've played of this one, this is the one where I feel like the dice screwed me the least. So I'm gonna say that. Like I did have some rolls where it's like, well, that's really unfortunate. Like I rolled a lot of fails, at least in my recollection there. But I feel like it was still a very even curve, and it came back and forth, which was kind of nice.
I think Darth Vader's innate ability, just adding in a bunch of dice, really makes it feel more weighted in my favor.
Well, I'm just going to roll more dice.
I'm going to fail a number of these, but I'm just going to roll a bunch.
Exactly. And so many of your attacks where it's just like, I'm just going to add 3 dice and I'm just going to overwhelm you with things, right?
Yeah, I didn't one-tap too many times, but presenting the threat of just being like, also, I'm going to
hold on. You didn't one-tap too many times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 6 wounded tokens on me.
There were a few times I remember leaving you on 1.
But I have 6 wounded tokens on me. You came in with violence, man.
I came in with a lot of violence.
Now, I can't really complain too much because, I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, I mean, I did bring the aggression myself, right?
Yes.
And that's the thing. Like I was able to put a lot of really good attacks out there as well. Early on, for getting some of those coordinated fire triggers kind of hurt.
Yes.
There was a couple instances where like, oops, I could have coordinated fire and actually gotten some good value out of stuff. You forgot once or twice with your with
the
your
501st.
Well.
It's such a limited synergy. I put them in there because they can coordinated fire into Vader.
Yeah, and just Vader,
but it's
I guess.
Only Vader.
Yeah. And I mean, it's only a strain as well, so...
He didn't go too far from them, so like it wouldn't have been entirely irrelevant. But putting on a strain before they get attacked is...
The other one you missed it was the 5th brother being able to throw some expose out there when your other Inquisitors were attacking, right?
I don't think I missed it too often, to be honest, because...
I don't know if you did it at all.
No, because
to be honest.
I think maybe when Grand Inquisitor went over here, I may have missed it.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden your 5th brother ran over this way.
But then 5th brother took off, and he's like, bye, I'm going to go do something else.
See ya, mooks! But no, it was a good game. I had a lot of fun with you on this one. I hope to bring you back and do some more, especially with some of the original trilogy stuff hit next year, right?
Ooh, I'm excited.
Yeah, that's going to be good. As soon as the Ewoks hit, Yub-Nub.
I can't wait for the Yub-Nub meta.
There we go. So there we go. Leave your comments below. I mean, we are still trying to get good at this game, so we probably did miss some stuff in there. So definitely leave your comments. Let us know what we missed, where we can improve, all that sort of great stuff. And hopefully you enjoyed the game. And we will see you next time. Happy wargaming.